Welcome. Two cousins and one couch. Y'all gonna have to bear with me tonight because I have been fighting off this cold. But if you're just coming in, make yourself at home. Y'all know how we do. We got the couch, we got the pallet on the floor, we got some comfy chairs, we got a bean bag, we got snacks in the kitchen. The good ones, of course. So if you are coming in here tonight, just know that you are considered our honorary cousin. And while you're coming in, if you could just let us know where you are tuning in from. Let us know where you're tuning in from tonight. And let us know how you're doing on a scale of 1 to 10. Pardon me. Tina, you can turn off the music. Okay. Oh, we got Miss Yo Baby Yo on the line. Hello, cuz. Welcome back to Two Cousins, One Couch, a space designed to help families so that we can think about our family dynamics, talk about what we inherited, and learn and heal through honest conversation, really in an effort to make room for deeper understanding. This is episode 6, Voice and Choice, and I am really excited to see what me and Tina unpack tonight. But before we get too deep into that, my name is Gose, and in our family, I am the oldest grandchild and granddaughter on my limb of the family tree. I'm a niece, big sister, cousin, auntie, and I moved through this world highly protected and deeply connected. I am also the Black Love Permissionist. I'm an intrapersonal and interpersonal relationship advocate, a certified feminine empowerment and life coach, trauma educator, restorative justice practitioner, cultural conversationalist, multidimensional creatress. And if you ask me, I'm an all-around dope-ass individual. I am also proud to claim myself as one half of the two cousins. And I would like for our other half, Tina, to come on in and introduce herself.
One day I'm going to have an introduction just as illustrious as my cousin, but I am known as on YouTube, Tina Mofa Show. I am on my branch of the family tree, the oldest grandchild, oldest child. I am an aunt. I am a niece. Oh, I am a great aunt. I am a daughter. And I moved through this space as a believer of Jesus Christ and all things pertaining to Scripture. I also am an inspector by trade. And at the end of the day, I'm just me, just another part of this family tree.
I feel that. I was doing a show with my girl, Joe, a few episodes back, and we were just talking, and I said, you know what, I'm just a girl. Because sometimes that's really who we are when it's all said and done. Okay. Well, y'all know how we do. We're going to start with our gratitude and our church announcements, as we call them. So, Tina Mo, for sure, how are you arriving today? What are you grateful for? Pardon me.
I should already know what I'm grateful for, but
you could take a moment to think about it. I think we just got a new cousin that came in. Peace and blessings to Chris Lee. Welcome to Two Cousins, One Couch. Grab some snacks, make yourself at home, and you are considered our honorary cuz, so we just want to acknowledge you. Hey, cuz. And Chris, if you could tell us how you're doing on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 obviously being the best ever. I know some people have been watching the Super Bowl today. I don't know how that's impacting how people are showing up, but talk to us. Now, cuz, what you grateful for? Was that enough time?
Mhm. And it definitely was enough time. I am grateful for life.
Mhm.
It's not something that I can really take for granted because each day that we're given, that we get the opportunity to see, is a gift in and of itself.
Yeah.
And because I recognize that sometimes I like to take the time to reflect on different aspects of my life and reflect on the choices that I've made thus far, what choices I want to make as it pertains to moving forward and
Mm.
as it pertains to growth and maturation. Um, and where I am mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I can't leave out financially because I need some coins. But
Come on, coins.
yes, coins. But it's one of those things that I think about that I don't want to take for granted. Is the fact that I have life, and with every breath that I
Yes.
take, I have an opportunity to do something that I've never done before.
I know
Because this
that's
day
right.
is not like any other day.
Yes, yes. I love that. Okay. Well, let's see. I want to meet your gratitude and say, one, well, shoot, on Monday and Tuesday, I had no voice at all. So I'm at about 85%, 90% back vocally. So I'm grateful for that.
Mhm.
And on a more personal note, my little nephew, my little 3-year-old nephew, was hospitalized this week and he has been sent home. He has a clean bill of health. And it turns out that the complication he experienced uh, was simply caused by a fever. And, as my bestie would say, doctors say ain't nothing wrong with him. So
Mm,
that's where I'm coming in grateful. And I will echo your gratitude about life. Absolutely. I'm often reminded that I am currently living in my answered prayers. There's so many things that I prayed
mm,
about over the years, and right now it's happening. I'm sitting in the middle of it.
mhm.
So I'm grateful for that too. You got any church announcements over there? Cause I feel like I kind of got all mine out.
Um, well, I had me a nice little incident that I was adjacent to. It didn't necessarily involve me personally, but it was one of
Mhm.
those moments where I'm like, what does this mean? I had an incident here at the house, and of course, I'm responsible for my grandmother, taking care of her and what have you. And she was having a conversation on the phone with a cousin of mine that is in another state. When all of a sudden the police were called because one of my sisters that was here visiting, got into it with my uncle.
Mm.
And the ruffling of feathers kind of made my cousin who was on the phone with my grandmother, made her feel some type of way. So she decided to call 911. And
Lord.
I'm sitting there looking out the window like I do most days. I'm sitting there, and where I sit, it sits right in front of the street. And so I'm looking, and I know it's snowy, it's ice all on the ground and everything. And but for some reason, I see the police go by, and I'm like, why they look like they're coming to this house? And once again, here it is. I'm second guessing myself, talking about, girl, you crazy? What the police coming over here for? And so, lo and behold, few seconds later, what do I see? Police officer walking across the grass. And I'm like, oh, they're coming here.
No. You like, Wait a minute."
Now, the old me would have jumped in a tub or something. I don't know. Would have been here to try to jump out the window or something. I don't know what I would have done. But I just was just looking. I was like, what are they here for? And so they were under the impression that I had called 911. I was like, I didn't call anybody. And everything was straightened out. And it was just one of those things of, when people aren't there and they're not used to things happening in the fashion that they do, people get loud. And my folks, I mean, kind of loud on the loud side. And so just that. a tidbit of rambunctiousness, if I might say.
Yeah.
You know, ruffled a few feathers, and so they were called. And after they saw that everything was okay, they ended up leaving. There was that there just had everyone looking at each other like, "You call, no, you call, no, you call." I'm like, "I ain't called nobody." We found that it wasn't nobody in the house, no one in the
That
house at
is
all that had called, and so it was just one of those things where I'm like, "Well, here we go again. If it ain't something, it's something else."
these are facts. Wow. Well, I'm gonna check in with our honorary cousins in the Chatments. Let us know, when we say we're stopping and sharing some gratitude, feel free. Share one thing you're grateful for. And when we talk about the church announcements, that's just our little funny way of saying, what's going on in your life? You got any news, any updates, any tea, any drama? Feel free to share it in here. I can't promise you it's always going to be a safe space, but it's definitely a brave space.
Absolutely.
And oh wow, we got Ernest Johnson in the Chatments, and just surprise, surprise for everyone. This is my husband. So say hello to Ernest Johnson in the chat.
Why, hello, Ernest Johnson. So glad to see you. As one of the honorary cousins in the space.
Okay. So we up in here, we up in here. Grateful for life. We love life. Okay, so tonight we are, first of all, to let you know how we got here with the topic voice and choice. Uh, Tina and I were both having some vocal issues this week. My voice completely left and it's working on coming back. Tina was having some vocal challenges. And
Oh,
as
yes.
you know, I've said it many times before, we come from a jaw jacking ass family. So, two very talkative women without voices can be a bit much. And sometimes I think personally, when my voice leaves, that's God just telling me to go ahead and shut up. Like, shut your mouth. Um, but I was thinking, after experiencing the vocal strain, I started kind of slowing down because I had a couple of days where I just couldn't talk at all. And it made me start thinking about our voice and our choice, and oftentimes how our voice is in alignment with our choices, right?
Mhm.
And so I was bringing this to Tina, and I was thinking about how oftentimes family will teach us when it's okay to speak, when it's safer to stay quiet, things we learn out in the world about our voice, especially, in a time like this with what's going on politically. Anybody who's taken any time to watch the news, it is like more important now than ever for us to know when and how to use our voice. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, so I thought this would be a really, really important conversation. And so I wanted to, ask a couple questions because, Tina, she be thinking about some things. And, of course, I'll share some of the things that I think about. But what I wanted to start with was just the family, right? Because oftentimes, the way I'm looking at things, I'm looking at, well, where do we even learn our concepts about who we are? And in this instance, our voice. And what does that mean about our choice? So, Tina, where would you say you learned how to use your voice?
Mimicking my mother and my grandmother.
Mm,
Um,
tell me more.
which is kind of funny that I think about that. But I grew up um sounding a lot like them, especially when they were younger.
Mm,
If there have been times in my life where I sounded so much like them
mm,
until no one could tell us apart, literally. Um,
mm,
my grandmother could answer the phone and no one would know if, I mean, they would think they would be talking to her. Of course, it was her house. She could answer the phone, and then my mother could answer the phone, and they didn't know if they were talking to her or her mother. And then it got to a point where I was answering the phone at some point in time. And so there would be times like, is this they would be wondering if it's my mother, and then they would wonder if it was my grandmother. And I'm like, no, they was like, Tina. Girl, put your mama on the phone or put your grandma on the phone.
Right.
And so, it would be one of those things that I think about as it relates to how they carried themselves, how
Mm,
they had business conversations. I was always a bit of a eavesdropper where
mhm.
I'm ear hustling. I'm trying to hear what you're saying, how you're saying it, because I wanted to be responsible. I wanted to be able to be in a space where I could speak well enough to take care of something. And if push came to shove, if I needed to stand in their stead, I could do so. And so I learned a lot from in the beginning from them. Even to this day, there are times where um, one phone call come in here if I answer my grandmother's phone, and she will say, her sons will be like, "Is this?" I'm not sure, or they'll just start telling "Mama," blah 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 blah, and they just go into their whole business, and I'm like, "Wait, wait, 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 this is Tina." It was like, "Oh, how you doing?" They've been talking to me for 15 minutes, not recognizing because they won't let me get a word in edgewise, not realizing that I'm not their mother, and so I think about that. Um, about how much of an influence watching them, listening to them, seeing them carry on different conversations, and how much all of that was influential in my life.
You know what? I can relate to that. There was a time when I started to sound more like my mom, and it was confusing to people. I'm glad you
Hmm.
brought that up. I forgot about that.
Hmm.
Um, I was gonna clown you, but you were so deep in it and just tell you, of course, you sound like a grandma because you are a grandma. But you've been 75 since the day you were born, babes.
Hey, been here for a minute.
But let's get deeper into this conversation, though, right?
Yes.
Growing up, who was allowed to speak freely in your family?
Mm. Everyone.
Mm.
Um, so much so to the point where people would talk so much until you'd have to tell them to be quiet because they wouldn't. But for the most part, everyone had some kind of say. If you had an opinion, you could express it. If you had some thoughts, you could express it. Um, at least I had that safety as it pertains to my grandmother and grandfather. And
Mm.
for the most part, with my uncles and whatnot, there were just things I didn't feel comfortable talking to my mother about.
Yeah.
Um, uh, discussing things with her would be difficult because she seemed to be on the shyer side, and so and she would be quiet. She'd just be sitting around and not saying much, but it wasn't like she didn't talk at all. It just I wasn't able to talk about many things, although I could talk to her and express what I thought for the most part.
Got you. So
Mhm.
opinions were fine, even if you disagreed with the authority in your house. That was welcomed.
Um, yes. I mean, yeah, for the most part, I'm now you might get called stupid for whatever that opinion was, but it wasn't a thing of shut your mouth. You ain't got no business saying this and that and the other, what have you. There was a freedom, quite a bit of a freedom as it pertains. As a matter of fact, when we were growing up, there were others that would come in from the outside, like in laws and things of that nature. And they were like, those kids say too much. They in grown folks' business. And it almost was
Mm.
no such of a thing, to a degree. We knew not to say certain things, as
Yeah.
children. But for the most part, we had we had an opinion about just about everything, or at least I did.
Mhm.
Now, and with me being the older one, or the oldest, um, being the first of the next generation, I had a whole lot of ideas and opinions and things that who was I going to discuss it with other than the grown folks? So when it came to everyone else, the kids were just being the kids. Me, on the other hand, I had this thing where I was drawn to grown-ups. I was drawn to older people because that was what I was
Mm,
accustomed to.
got it. Okay, well, let me check in with our honorary cousins in the chat because, okay, Tina and I, we are actual blood cousins. Her grandmother is my late grandfather's sister.
Hmm.
And I find this so fascinating sometimes when I hear about your childhood in the ways that it's slightly different from mine. But I want to check in with my honorary cousins. Yes, see, I'm already seeing it. Who grew up in a household where you were told to watch your mouth, to shut up, where you were silenced, where you were told, you know, children are supposed to be seen and not heard, and all of those kinds of things. And if you were like Tina, where you grew up in a household where your opinions matter, where you were allowed to sit and discuss things with adults, even if you disagreed with them. Um, with the exception of you said sometimes you might get called stupid, but for the most part, everybody had a voice.
Hmm.
What did y'all
Hmm.
experience? And I think we got another cousin in the chat, T Brown.
Yes, T. Brown. So glad to see you. Just wanted to acknowledge you and invite you in as one of our honorary cousins. So
Hey,
glad that you
cuz.
decided to hang out and share the space with us tonight.
Yes, yes, yes. I see a hand up. Ernest, why is your hand up? Which family were you in? Were you in family number one, where you were told to sit down and shut up? Or were you in family number two, where everybody had equal voice? And I see at Brit Family Fun, we didn't have it growing up at all. I was always told to stay in a child's place. Didn't really feel like I had a voice. Yeah, that happens a lot. Oh, yep. Ernest said, yeah, number one, shut your ass up. Yeah. so, so I'm half and half. I'm mixed because similarly to Tina, and this is probably because of where we're related, my dad was big on me having a voice, right?
Hmm.
So, and like I said, we come from a talking ass family. So my dad's side of the family, which is the side I'm related to Tina on, they debate a lot, they talk a lot. And it's like it's interesting because it's like you're either that kind of person where you're gonna talk and debate a lot, or you just don't talk at all. We
Hmm.
got people in the family they're just not big talkers. Um,
Hmm.
so I had that, but then on my mom's side, it was a clear hierarchy where if my mom felt like I was talking too much or talking the wrong way or saying the things that she didn't feel like she should have to hear, then there was absolutely repercussions, usually violent repercussions. And so
Hmm.
I did learn early in life uh, to kind of, you kind of got to learn who you can be open with and who you can't. And I think I
Right.
kind of moved through life in that way.
Hmm.
Hold on, the chat's going up. What are our cousins saying?
Oh.
Tina, are
uh,
you doing the thing that you be doing? Because I don't know how to do it. Yep, I see it. I was
mhm.
told to sit down before they make change out of my not change. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We
Yolanda said, "Go ahead."
no, you can read it, cuz.
We didn't have that growing up at all. I was always told to stay in a child's place. Didn't really ever feel like I had a voice.
Yeah, yeah.
Whew,
Not
I
having a voice
definitely
will do
understand.
something to you. Yes, it will.
Hello, cuz it's simply Sunshine Moments has entered the building. So glad that you decided to hang out with us as an honorary cousin. We most certainly greet you and welcome you into the space tonight.
Yes, welcome. Hey, honorary cuz. My grandma used to say that I didn't have a voice.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm appreciating this feedback because I think a lot of children, especially Black children of a certain age, we definitely a lot of us grew up in the sit down, shut up era, or the
Mhm.
one minute we cool and I'm just talking, and the next minute something's flying at my head, and I'm trying to
Mhm.
understand how I ended up, in a chokehold when I thought we were all just talking.
Mhm.
Because and I bring this up because I think sometimes when people don't speak up, there is almost this judgment that people put on people who don't speak up, because it's like, well, what's wrong with you? You're grown. What's the problem? But there's nothing in your life that's ever told you it was safe to speak up. It can be
Mhm.
really hard to develop a voice. It can be really hard to feel like your voice matters. And in the conversation we're having tonight, when your voice aligns with your choice, a lot of times people who don't feel like they have a voice often feel like they also don't have choices. So we are unpacking that tonight. If you just got here, oh, hello, hello. Oh, you see who just popped in?
Mhm.
It's Denise too, real. Hey, honorary cuz, listening in the background, prepping for bed. Oh, we glad to have you here. I think now I talk so much or try to get it all out because that took me a long time to speak for myself. Thank you, Simply Sunshine Moments. I love that. Um, okay, this is
See,
I
I've
like
had
this.
2
Uh-huh.
sides of that as well, because I
Talk
had to
about it.
think about the fact that though I may have been raised, with my mother, I still had moments with my father,
Mm,
where, and but the dynamic was a bit different in that, all of them had an opinion, but if you were a child, you were to stay in a child's place. You're supposed to be somewhere asleep. Danielle is in the building. So glad that you decided to hang out with us as an honorary cousin.
there you
Uh,
go. She
but
just in the background. You know what I mean? She in the bed. She just in the background.
uh-huh. Miss Virgo. Hey, listening in the background will comment later after listening. Yeah, but we want to acknowledge you and invite you into the space as well as our honorary cousin
Hey, cuz,
in the
you know
space
what?
too.
Either they
Hmm.
sound like Timothy in the background. It remind me of trying to sneak on the phone back in the day. They all sneaking on the phone when they know they supposed to be asleep.
Yes.
Ah,
I had the duality of being a child, but because I was so close to the ages of my aunts
mm,
and uncles on my father's
mm,
side, it was hard to see me as a child.
yeah,
And so I had a voice. Now my sister, who was only a year and a half younger than me, was treated like she was a baby in comparison to me. And I was like, hey, I'm just gonna take it and run with it. Now, true enough, our mindsets were completely different. And they would get a kick out of some of the things that I would say because they would always talk like I was well beyond my years. But it was because I
yeah,
was hanging around all the old people. That's all I had to hang around, you
yeah,
know. And because of that, I didn't have a desire to hang around younger people or people that were closer to my age or younger. With that being the case, I always was able to kind of tote the line of straddling the fence between saying what I want to say, but
yeah,
saying it in a way where it was palatable for the adults, but
yeah,
still edgy because it's coming from a kid, you know.
right. So yours
Mhm.
was seen as precocious. Your
Right.
sister's was seen as uh,
Disrespectful.
unacceptable. Yeah.
Unacceptable.
And I feel like I got both, like I said, both sides. The illest oracle, hey. Greetings, greetings. Welcome to Two Cousins, One Couch. Grab you some snacks and make yourself at home. Um, I see on my dad's side, right? There was more me talking and not really getting in trouble, being able to express my ideas and learn how I thought about things. Um, but on my mom's side, I was seen as disrespectful,
Hmm.
right? And it would be weird because it'd be the same kind of conversation I would have with my dad, but
Hmm.
then now I'm over here bringing that style to my mama, And, now we gotta, you know, people want to throw hands about it. And I'm trying to figure out what happened. So
Right.
I do think, it is interesting because we learn a lot of messages about communication. We learn a lot of messages about, our own voice and our own choice early in life. And a lot of stuff sticks with us. And I was thinking, even for a lot of the people in the audience, I would ask y'all, did y'all ever have the experience where silence felt like safety, where you told yourself, you know, the best way to get through things was to just be quiet. I just ain't gonna say nothing. Elevated chills just came in the building.
Yes, indeed. So glad. Wanted to welcome you into the space, Elevated. Appreciate your presence being here as one of our honorary cousins and my personal neck bone. So glad that you decided to hang out with us.
Hey,
Uh,
cuz, honorary cuz, and her personal neck bone. Oh, the illust oracle says jumping right in. I was totally silenced as a child, so I turned up at school. Okay, because it's got to come out somewhere.
it's going to come out somewhere.
It's got to. It's
Yes,
got.
indeed. And these things follow us. Yes, indeed. Yes.
So then let's talk about it, right? I think that's the perfect segue because you're learning these messages at home about
Hmm.
communication. You're looking at who has the power, whose voice matters, right? You're seeing
Hmm.
this clear line between who can talk, who can't, or who can talk about what subjects are okay to talk about, what aren't.
Hmm.
And then you go out into the world, right? School, obviously, is where a lot of us are introduced to the bigger world.
Hmm.
And I love how the Illust Oracle was saying, when she got to school, that's when she turned up. Well,
Hmm.
what do schools teach us about our voices? Tina,
We
talk
don't
to me.
have any. Oh, now this is the thing though. The same duality that I lived at home was the same duality that I lived in school. I would always find some teachers that were they saw something different in me than they would see
Mm,
in the other students
mm,
because I knew how to carry myself. I knew how to have certain conversation. And
yeah,
because of that, they were like, "Oh, this kid is cool," you know. But then
yeah,
they would talk to me like I'm an adult.
yeah.
And so because of that, I got privileges that other students didn't. When
Mm,
I was cutting up in school. But because I carried the persona of I'm about my business, I take care
yeah.
of what's necessary, they were like, "Oh no, not Tina. She would never. Oh no, she's one of the best students here," and I'm like, not at all. But since you
Cold
believe that,
criminal.
I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off.
Right. Let's see. I'm
Yolanda said, "I
seeing.
still struggle
Mhm.
to date with speaking up. I don't like it."
Yeah,
Mm.
understood. And I'll be honest, sometimes, depending on where I am, I could feel that same exact way.
I
Mrs.
never really
86
was a
President.
quiet child. I was always an outspoken child that seems more disrespectful than an opinion. But I always still voiced my opinion, even though I know I was going to get in trouble.
Yep.
That sounded like my sister, actually.
Yeah, I got a lot of whoopings for that.
I got in trouble for talking too much in elementary school.
I got a lot of whoopings for that too.
I was the quiet one that nobody ever knew. The only people that would know me would be the teachers for a
Gotcha.
very long time. So by the time I did start cutting up with the students, they didn't think it was me. They
Couldn't
would
have
be
been you.
surprised. Couldn't have. I had a suspension for cutting class.
Mm,
And I was cutting class, going to the office asking them, "Hey, they sent me from," I was lying, of course. They sent me from the other office, telling them I got a study, what they used to call in school, study hall or whatever it was back in the day. We didn't
yeah.
even have study hall. My school was garbage. But I was there at the school, and I'm going to where the principal's office is, going asking them, "Hey, do you all have something for me to do?" They sent me down from the other office. to see if you all had something for me to do. They was like, no, but I tell you what, get this hall pass and go take this to this other office and you do that over there, see if they need you. So instead, my sneaky tail will go in there with the principal. Now, this is the thing. I got a suspension for cutting class, and my principal took up for me and said, I've never had an issue. This must be some misunderstanding. The teacher was upset because she knew I had manipulated everyone, but it was her class and I was cutting doing the stuff that I was doing in the office.
Uh,
So I learned how to maneuver. That's why I got in trouble.
I'm tickled. Uh, let First of all, you see who's sneaking on the phone again?
Uh-huh. They said I was definitely like that. They never her. It was always me. I just had the ability to charm my way out of it. Yes, that most certainly was me. Absolutely.
Somebody said you fouled for that.
I got in trouble a lot as well. Hey, elementary school, because I was very talkative, believe it or not.
I can believe it.
Working the system. Absolutely. I'm going to work that system now. Whew, I try not to work it now. Yolanda said I got in trouble for talking a lot. Oh, I already saw that one. Hold on. What is it?
Mhm.
Oh, be okay. So glad that you decided to hang out with us. Just wanted to welcome you in as one of our honorary cousins. Make yourself at home. As cousin likes to say, make you a pallet, get you some chips out the back, what
That's
have
it.
you. Get you a little Kool-Aid, a little something to drink or what have you. We just
Listen.
we just cousins. We kicking it tonight. So glad that you
Welcome,
decided to hang
welcome.
out with us. Welcome.
Hey, cuz. Oh, my spiritual mother's in his house. Oh,
Mhm.
Danielle going back to the background. Get off that phone, Danielle. I'm gonna tell you like my auntie be telling me, lay your fat head down.
Oh my goodness. Yep, that sure is. You want to dress up?
Yes. Chef Wanda Blake. Welcome, welcome. So happy to have you. Oh, she got her chips and a sandwich. Oh, be
Mhm.
okay. Brought her own beer. We love that. What you drinking tonight? What kind of beer you drinking on?
Probably some IPA knowing her.
Okay. A little local craft beer.
Yeah, I'm over here tickled.
I love it. I love it. We had the best honorary cousins that be popping up in here.
I know, right? Especially ones that
Um,
bring their own chips and sandwich.
okay,
Child, save some of that bread.
okay.
um,
Especially shoot in this day and age with groceries cost.
so I can literally say, and I hadn't thought about it. Yep, IPA for sure. Um, you see,
Yep. Okay, so Chef Wanda Blake says, cousins, what we chatting up? Yes, I was busted for talking too much in school. I think this is so interesting too that a lot of women are coming up in the chat saying that they were getting in trouble at school. And I
hmm
think, because one of the questions I'm asking is, when we're growing up, what messages are we receiving? Who's allowed to talk? Whose voice holds more weight? Who has authority? And, we started talking about in the family, just to catch you up, Wanda Blake, we were talking about tonight's conversation is about voice and choice and
hmm
really the connection between our voice and our choices. And we're starting off just talking about in families, what do we learn about our voice? And then when you go out into the world in school, what are we being told, whether it's directly or indirectly? So you are right on time. The Illust Oracle says, I was quiet around adults, but around friends, I was totally unhinged. I was raised in a be seen, not heard environment. Yep, we talked about that. I didn't want to bring any attention to myself in school. Thank you, thank you. I and Tina, I was considered a really good kid. You know what I mean? Like I was well
Mhm.
behaved. I was
Mhm.
raised by military parents, so I yes ma'am and no sir to
Mhm.
everybody.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's my upbringing.
um, yeah, so I was well behaved in school. I made really good grades. I was a good athlete. You know, I knew to go to school and act right, but I would often finish my work faster than the other kids, and then my little brain get to ooh, 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 and now I want to talk. And I got in so much trouble for talking. That was like, if I think about my whole life, I
Mhm.
think I've gotten in trouble for talking more than anything else ever in my whole life.
Mm.
Oh, we got another cousin up in here.
Yes, it's Mary. So glad that you decided to hang out with us tonight. Wanted to welcome you into the space as one of our honorary cousins. Make yourself at home. So glad that you decided to hang out with us tonight.
Yes, yes. Hey, cuz. So, you know, I got a question.
Hmm.
We're talking about voice and choice, right?
Hmm.
And we're also talking about those silent messages that we receive from family, from school, from authority figures. And, I was thinking about, so many of us were told to shut up and in all kinds of ways, right? Literally,
Hmm.
my mouth has been my problem my whole life. And Denise, my honorary cousin, if anybody can relate, Goze can relate.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that.
It's the truth. Now read it out loud. Read it out loud. I'll read it. I'll read it. You don't want to read your own name out loud. I got you, cuz. Mary says, Tina, hope you well, dear. I love listening to you. You so full of wisdom. Okay.
Lord Jesus.
It's the facts. Don't try to
This
skip over the
hello
facts.
there.
I still got my report cards. They all say Antonice talks too much and disturbs others. Yep, me too, Antonice. Me too. And the family kids had a non-talk place. Wanda Blake says, don't be up and grown folks talking. There really wasn't a choice to speak up. Ooh, okay.
Ooh, I know this. Now I understand that one right there. Ada, so glad that you decided to hang out with us tonight. Appreciate your presence. I want to welcome you in as one of our honorary cousins into the space. So glad that you decided to hang out with us tonight.
Okay. All right. So,
BOK said, I was
yeah,
raised in a household where having a voice was encouraged, but it had to be coupled with honesty. I rarely got into issues at school except for a few scuffles with some
with some
heart.
hoes. The
Yeah,
hoes.
never with teachers. Absolutely.
Not the hoe scuffles.
That is hilarious, first of all.
Oh my goodness. Yep. Speaking up was called talking back. Tina, undercover minister out here.
Oh, here we go with that again.
Ooh, she don't like that, even though it ain't so undercover. It's not undercover. Y'all
It's
better,
not
yep.
on. Well,
Tell y'all cousin Tina the truth. I
mm.
loved it. I see. I ain't even gonna say nothing, but I'm just gonna read the comments. Hmm.
Why?
Yep. So then, okay, let's talk about what does that look like when you get out of school. Now you out here in the workplace and you have taken these messages from what your family, you've taken messages from school. And actually I was even thinking about Tina was talking about stuff that happened in her school. I just learned from Tina and my bestie that a lot of kids was getting beat up at school by the teachers. Like I thought corporal punishment was just a couple of swats on the behind. Did
Oh
y'all grow
no.
up with more than that? Let me know in the chats. Was y'all getting full blown beat downs at school or just a couple swats?
No, I didn't want to get no couple of swats. They was getting us to beat down. Anthony said, "Oh, I couldn't wait to turn 18. I felt like I got my
Mm,
voice and could say how I feel. I definitely allow my kids to express themselves because I couldn't speak up. Who was talking back?"
mm. Thank you so much for sharing, Antonice. We so glad to have you here. Liz, hey Tina, and all the cousins in the chat. Hey, cuz.
Hey,
Oh, they
cousin.
still talking about you.
Who?
Talking about this in her, she can't even help it. Go ahead, put that one up
Who
there, the
said it?
illustrator.
Wait,
Oh, you gonna skip it?
I didn't
Wow,
see it. I
she
ain't seen it yet.
skipped it.
Oh.
May
Mm.
God keep using you for His glory, bringing hope to the hopeless, encouragement and prayers. The other day we had powerful prayer here, and I blessed the Lord. You ain't getting up out of this one.
Amen.
Mm-mm. Yeah, they talking about it's on her, it's
Wait,
in her.
did I skip it? Because I don't
No, you
see it. I
skipped
didn't
it. I
see it.
saw you skip it. Look at Liz when she said hi,
Oh,
Tina, and
did
all the
oh
cousins.
that part.
And then right after there, it's in her. She can't even help it.
I don't see that part nowhere. Oh, I see it
Okay.
now.
hmm
Oh.
Britt says she can't help it. Oh, people got
Mhm.
yardstick spankings. Oh, y'all used to get pinched. I heard about these pinches. We
Oh
didn't
yeah,
get
that
corporal
picture was
punishment in my
nice.
school district. Oh, Ernest, I grew up in Brooklyn, so if a teacher tried to hit me, my entire family was up there. We fought together.
Oh.
Okay. We got beat, switch, yardstick. Mama never believed us. Now at home, that's a different story. No corporal punishment at school, but at home. Oh, somebody wants you to know that he is using you, Tina.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mm.
Let him use you.
This having the time of your life.
Yeah, I actually am, y'all. I live for this because Tina and I be over here arguing when we're not on the show because I'm like, Tina, you are a preacher. I be calling her pastor, preacher, minister, and all that. And she be mad. So this is great. Um,
How many buses do I need to be thrown under today?
love you.
Oh.
Love you, cuz.
AC the one, I see you. Just want to recognize you and welcome you into the space as one of our honorary cousins. Thank you for deciding to hang out with us tonight.
Hey, cuz, grab you some snacks, make yourself at home. We're talking about voice and choice. I was using my voice to troll my cousin for a second with love. Oh, we got Crystal World in the chat. Crystal's World.
I'm over here trying to. The Chapmans must be moving.
No, the
I
chats
never
ain't
loved
playing
my
with us.
primary studies. Teachers were not friendly. Serious punishments. Oh yeah, oh yeah. The teachers they weren't playing. That's why I like getting on their good side. I found out what they like to do, and I made sure I got what they like to do. If they like to eat,
Okay.
I could get some to eat. If they like to drink, I'll find a way to get them something to drink. They already thought I was old anyway, so it didn't matter.
Tina will hit you with the good book for show. Get her, Goze.
Wait, hold on. Who said that?
Has a Brit said get her, and then cuz funny she got me. Has a nice ring, Pastor Tina.
Oh, Crystal's World. So glad that you decided to hang out with us as one of our honorary cousins. Thank you for deciding to hang out with us tonight. Oh my goodness.
Yep, you got them in there hollering.
I'm
I
in
love
here
it.
sweating for the wrong reasons.
You sweating. Pastors be sweating too, so that makes sense.
Oh my
Pastors just
Lord
be
God.
standing and sweating, because the Holy Ghost just be running all up through them, so then they just gotta sweat. I think that's how that works.
Oh,
Um,
well, that is hilarious.
okay. All right, I'm gonna come back to trolling Tina. Let's get Tina a break. We'll be back to harass her later. Um, but now we're looking at the themes, right? What happens through life? What do we learn from family? What do we learn from school? I see a lot of people got worked over at school. People getting pinched and yardsticks and all kinds of stuff. My mother didn't play that. She was like, "Your butt is mine." She did not like to share the whooping responsibilities with anybody, not even my dad. So I didn't get, I think Illust Oracle was saying she went to a school that didn't have corporal punishment. Mine did. My mama just wasn't going. Uh-oh. Tina, everyone got to go now, 7:48. Taking mom to see the doctor and go to work. Oh, okay. Thanks for letting us know.
Pray that all goes well for you, Mary, with your mother and everything. Appreciate you for coming out
Absolutely.
this evening and hanging out with us. And by all means, get some, whatever it is that you need, some rest, some reprieve, and be able to be there for your mom. Thank you.
Hmm. Yes, thank you for stopping by for sure. So then we take all of this, right? So many people in the chat, so many of our honorary cousins have been silenced in certain ways. I know I was silenced. At least they attempted to silence me. Um, and then now we're in the workplace. What
Hmm.
what do you think for you, Tina? Obviously, you had a pretty unique experience.
Hmm.
How did you show up in the workplace when it came to using your voice?
Oh, my lamb chops. Because there are so many different facets, I'm multifaceted in
Yeah,
every space that I'm in, depending on my mood sometimes, depending on the job at hand, depending on the responsibilities. And so you'll see many different layers of me at any given moment, at any given time. With that
right.
being the case, yeah, because I've had lots of experience in different spaces and places. With that being the case, when it comes to my voice, a lot of times what would end up happening is even if I was not a supervisor, according to pay, because they got to pay me. You just not gonna tell me I'm the leader and I got to be over the people and you ain't give me no coins. However, I was
Right?
always looked to for
Right.
guidance. I was always looked to for leadership and leadership roles and responsibilities. Because I would be willing to say, "Hey, that's not right. There's a better way to do that," or I see something ahead that could be a problem or an area of concern somewhere down the line. I was the one that was willing to ask the questions that were necessary, things that people hadn't thought of, because that's just what came to me in the moment. And so, with that happening like that, it would put me in predicaments where I would run trouble with supervisors at times.
Yeah. How
Um,
so?
because
Ooh, two deep breaths.
yeah, because it's one of those things of I don't know how to describe this. Everyone is not a everyone does not applaud excellence.
Nope.
And because of that, I would run the risk of um making a supervisor feel like I was undermining them
Yep.
or I was challenging them in some kind of way. Even if what they were saying was not the best way
Mm,
of taking care of a situation.
yeah.
The fact that I was willing to challenge them on that shed a bad light on them. That's the best way that I can put it.
I'm already knowing jealousy and insecurity in the workplace. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
And
exactly.
so I dealt with a lot of that until I learned how to humble myself in the space
Mm,
and allow the people to see me more like an asset than to see me like competition.
gotcha.
And so it made it easier to get along with people because at the end of the day, I don't know, I had to put myself in their shoes and I got called out about it. My best friend told me, you can't be bucking up and snapping on the supervisor. They're there for a reason. You're under them for a reason. And
Yeah.
so I had to learn how to be willing to dial back um because I know I can be prideful, a bit braggadocious if I know how to do something and know how to do it well. And that's where I'm coming in that energy. I know how to do this. I know what I'm talking about. But the thing about it is when you're in those type of settings where you have someone, you have to submit to that authority in some kind of way
Mhm,
in order to be
mhm.
able to move forward. Because otherwise you're just coming to work to fight until you get off work. And even if you are in the right, do you really want to be in that space? And so I had to have that question my best friend asked me, and it was like, you're wrong, right? And I'm like, I'm wrong for what? If I feel like my supervisor is stupid according to the decisions that they're making and the outcome is coming out horribly because of the decisions that they're making, why wouldn't I say to do something different? But my approach was wrong. And so I had to learn how to um consider myself in their shoes. How would I want a person to approach me even if I was wrong? How would I want
Mm.
them to be able to how would I want to be how would I want to work with them to get something accomplished rather than every time I turn around, they basically point a finger at me like you dumb and stupid, you know. And so I had to learn how to not necessarily take a back seat, but be willing to submit, to be willing to play the secondary role in
Yeah.
excellence, but still be willing
Supportive role.
to be, yes, a supportive role. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. The Illust Oracle says, I had a similar experience as Tina. I even would be consulted by upper management and had to
Hmm.
learn to set boundaries. I also learned diplomacy in the workspace.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes.
And Liz says, you would be a great mentor, cousin Tina.
Oh Lord. Oh. Mhm. Thank you.
You try to rush through that one. Simply Sunshine Moment says, your strength is a gift and a curse sometimes.
It
Yeah.
can be. Uh huh.
So circling it back to our voices, right?
Yes.
So, we're seeing a lot of themes where people being silenced as children. Then you go to
Hmm.
school and you're silenced. How many people have been in the workplace and you get to see really quickly who's getting silenced, who's allowed to speak up, uh, what is considered professionalism,
Hmm.
what tones are accepted, right? Because we know some
Hmm.
people get tone policed and
Oh
some people
yes.
do not. So, what do we learn in the workforce about our voice and our choice? Talk to us, cousins. I know um, I can definitely say similarly to school, I've had, the theme in my life. There was always a good chunk of people in my life who loved what I had to say, who appreciated my insights, appreciated my authority, appreciated my opinions. Um, and then there has always been, similarly to, like I said, my relationship with my mother was people in my life who were extremely triggered by what I had to say and felt like I was disrespectful, that I was too cocky, that I had no right to say the things that I was saying, and wanted to silence me because of how my words made them feel.
Hmm.
And I've seen this throughout life. So similarly to you, Tina, when I went into the workforce, I was always a really good employee because again, I was raised by military parents. So they
Hmm.
raised me
Yeah.
like a soldier. I know how to
Yeah.
follow orders. You
Hmm.
put me in a position, I'm gonna play that position, period.
Hmm.
But I'm also an observer and I'm
Hmm.
always gonna look and see what's going on. And I can be the best support to any leader, but I have no problem saying, hey, I see what we're doing, but we could do this a little bit better. Or, hey, I noticed that this power imbalance is harming this group of people.
Hmm.
And the older I've gotten, that has gotten me into trouble at work because I've always been put into leadership positions. And for some reason, people love you when they're promoting you. People love your gifts and they love your fire and your passion. But as soon as they put you in a position and you actually step into the authority of that position, and I would say I see this a lot with women, particularly women of color, it can get really, really interesting because now the same person who they saw as really qualified and they really wanted to hear your insights, some people will now have a problem with you when you step into your authority.
Hmm.
Mm. Okay, we got Wanda. I love think about them being in their shoes. I feel you on this. I learned and also made adjustments, but I also prayed about training my supervisors and told God I was tired. He handled it. Hello?
Mhm.
Yes, let's restrict
And now they call it code switching. It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. It is exhausting. They love it until they don't. A lot of times, that is the truth. That is the truth, right? You're in the workplace, you start seeing, and it gets really clear. I love how Tina was talking about when she was a kid, right? She had a sister who's like right behind her in age,
Mhm.
but when Tina says something, it hits well. It's
Mhm.
received. Her sister says something, and it's whoa, 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 right?
Mhm.
and
Right.
and you see a lot of that even in schools, right? How some
Mhm.
kids can get away with saying almost anything, and
Mhm.
some kids cannot.
Right.
And I think that says a lot about the power of voice too, right? Some people are able to use their voice in a way that soothes other people.
Mhm.
Some people's voices were not put here to soothe. They were put
Mhm.
here to activate. And it sounds like your sister's voice is activating. And I'm calling her your sister. That's my cousin too.
Yes. I mean, and you know what? We had a similar situation once where
Yeah,
I was trying to convey a message. It was an emergency situation. My mother's former husband who passed some years ago. He was a tree trimmer. I was working for him at one point in time, but I wasn't working for him then.
yeah.
And I remember he was cutting a tree limb that was in the backyard, and I looked at it and I said, "Oh, he's cutting a big one. Why didn't he evacuate the house?" This is what I'm thinking because I worked with him before, so I knew the danger of what was going on.
Yeah,
And so I'm looking, and so I come in the house and say, "Hey, y'all, you all need to leave here because if not, if something bad is about to happen, and I don't think y'all want to be in here when it does."
right.
Everybody ignores me like I said, "Why don't you take an extra blanket and another pillow and snuggle right on into the spot that you're in that is dangerous?" And so I decided to take my sister. I said, "Hey, come outside. Let me show you something." And so I take her outside. I said, "You see that limb in the air? The limb is about 80 feet in the air. It doesn't look like a limb. It looks like a twig. Now, what it's attached to is a crane. And so
Hmm.
all you see is the boom in the air, which is the arm portion, and you see the line that it's attached to. But it looks like a twig in there." I said that's in the air does not look very large. But when
Yeah,
it comes down, it is going to be big. That's one of the smaller limbs. When she saw it come down, she was like, "That thing is big as a tree." I said, "Yes, this is why I was telling you all, you need to get out of the den," which everyone one was in. I don't even know why everybody was in the den, but they ended up taking everybody, moving them. Well, this is the thing. When my sister went in behind me, she went off like an alarm, bells, whistles, screaming at the top of her lungs. Everybody is in shock, but they're moving. They're
yep,
moving with the urgency of we better do it right now.
yeah, yeah,
And so I can say that to this day, while I can be very smooth and may at times can command a room, my sister is a completely different something else if the situation is serious.
yep, yep,
And she can grab attention of people that I can't. They ain't studying me. They're like, yeah, whatever. We're gonna go back to sleep. But when it comes to her, but on the other hand, no one else can talk to her like I can.
yeah, yeah,
There's a gravity when I'm speaking to her that she
yeah.
responds to that she doesn't respond to with anyone else.
That
And I've
makes
seen
sense.
that happen before, you know.
Yeah,
And so while it's almost like a mm-mm, I ain't going there. Anyway, oh man, it's almost like a Moses and Aaron type of situation
you didn't want to
where
go there.
I didn't, but I have to. It was just like a Moses and Aaron situation. Moses gives Aaron the instructions, and then Aaron is the one that goes out and does the thing. And so I think about that.
Yeah.
Moses is given the credit, but it was Aaron that was actually doing the work. And so I think about that as it pertains to my sister and I.
Hmm. No, I think that's powerful. I think, oh gosh, there's so many things I want to say. Okay, okay. Focus, focus, focus. Okay. I think there is something to be learned about vocal harmony, right?
Hmm.
Like when we learn how to use our voice and we learn the power of our voice and we learn how do people respond to our voice,
Hmm.
it's really cool to find whose voice works well with your voice and
Hmm.
how, how to work with each other. Like even with you and I, with this
Hmm.
show,
Hmm.
I think I play more of the curator of the space.
Hmm.
Oftentimes I'm the one coming up with topics, and then it's like throw the idea over to you. You finna run that ball every
Hmm.
time, right? Because
Hmm.
you have that certain type of gift of gab, right? Everybody in here is talking about you, the pastor, you're the minister, you know, and it's learning, how to sing together. And I think that wasn't a point that I wanted to get into today, but our conversations tend to take the turns they turn. I mean, that they take. I think it's important, especially in this day and age, where oftentimes the voices that need to be amplified the most are silenced.
Hmm.
And a lot of us, especially marginalized people, we are walking around with trauma around our voice. When
Hmm.
is it okay for me to speak? Is it okay for me to speak authentically? Uh, who can I speak authentically around? What's going to happen if I speak authentically? I want
Hmm.
to remind us it's not all on you, right? That's the beauty of having community. That's the beauty of having a village. So
Yes.
if you really want the voice to be amplified, sing with somebody else, right?
Right.
Bring somebody else in there. There are certain things that Tina's going to communicate better than I am, especially depending on the crowd, right? And
Hmm.
and learning how to be okay with that. You were talking about humility earlier, right?
Hmm.
Learning that sometimes it's not about um what's said, it's about who's saying it. And sometimes to get the thing that needs to be said, you find the person who can speak for the people, and you build with those people and you build around those people and you protect them at all costs. And that just popped in my head as we were talking. As you were talking about your sister, you guide her, but then your sister has that voice that activates.
Hmm.
Aaron was the
Definitely.
executor. Totally understand. Yes. Okay. Anthony's talking she in the background. She been sneaking on the phone the whole time. Girl, you ain't in no background. Come sit on this couch. um, so so now we're talking about like what does it look like in the workplace? And I'm pretty sure a lot of us have had some wild experiences in the workplace. I know I certainly have, especially within the
Yes,
last
indeed.
10 years.
Mm.
Um, I have had the wildest experiences. And it'll be funny because I'll be thinking I'm saying the most chill, the most neutral thing on earth, and somebody will be ready to fight. And I'm like, what happened?
I
And
get that a lot, son. I've gotten that a lot over the years. Not so much, well, depending on who I'm talking to, 'cause I can still get that sometimes.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, I've done that with you, so I had to remember that.
I wasn't even gonna bust you out like that, cuz, but I mean, since we're here, you know, you never know. That's the thing. You never know what's gonna touch a person in that sensitive place they don't want to be touched when you're talking.
You're
Um,
so right. I never knew.
yeah, you never know. You never know. Um, so then it's making me think too, what about in our romantic partnerships? We come from these
Mhm.
families, we go to these schools, we end up in the workplace. What are we learning about using our voice in romantic partnerships? Who's allowed to talk? What are we allowed to talk about? Um, is there anybody in our cousins, Chapmans, who has been told you're too sensitive or you're too emotional, or
Ooh.
they don't want to hear you bringing that up again. You making a big deal out of everything.
Mm-hmm. Making a
Talk to
mountain
us.
out of a molehill.
Mountain out of a molehill. That don't even got to be that deep.
Oh, now I've gotten that one. Yeah, so deep. I'm like, wait, I just was having a conversation. When did I get deep? Yes, yes.
Man, Ernest said us cancers are told that we're too emotional and we're crybabies. My ex used to say that, but he was being manipulative. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of times the silent message is you have a voice until you start talking about the things that make me uncomfortable. Right? A lot of people are
Mm-hmm.
not comfortable with emotions. They're not comfortable with sensitivity. You get to
Exhibit
talking
A.
too much about that. You said
Hello.
exhibit A.
Exhibit A. Tina Moe. So show. I have all the problems with the vulnerability and showing the softer side of me. Yes.
Ooh, I had
That
to blow
doesn't
my
mean I
nose.
have it, but I don't like it.
Folks be deflecting to throw you off.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yes, Oracle. Wait, I didn't see what she said. You see something from Illust Oracle?
Um,
That's good. Go say, folks. So I can't be vulnerable with the one. Um. Oh, I can't read that. I have to wait till my screen moves.
the last thing I saw was something about the diplomacy. I haven't seen anything else since then.
I haven't either. Okay. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything. Um. Oh yeah. So we're learning. We learning about that too, right? And then if I can't, it's like that last word I can't see. Oh, effing. Gotcha. If I can't be vulnerable with the one I'm effing, then who can I be vulnerable with? Right? I mean, you would think. One would think. Phyllis Oracle said, I ain't say anything. She didn't even say nothing this time. Um, okay. So then let's even think about what are we learning on a macro level in politics? Whose voices get to be heard? Whose voices don't?
Mm-hmm.
Who's allowed to be angry? You learn a lot about voice and choice when you see
Ooh.
who's allowed to express anger and who really got to shut the hell up with whatever little anger, whatever they feeling. My bad, Oracle. I'm out here looking crazy. That part. I'm gonna hush now. No, no, Brit family ain't no hushing. We
Mm-mm.
voices and choices in this room.
Mm-hmm. Don't be
No hush.
uncousining now. You in there now.
You in here now. You better go get you some sweet tea and come on back. Ain't no hushing. You take a break. You can take a little bathroom
Mm-hmm.
break.
Get you some chips or something and come over back and sit down. Not sit down, sit down.
Okay, everybody got to participate in my family discussions. That's just the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
Tina, I'm really cracking up because where I used to live, I was living with women who had children, and of course, I don't have any children. And we would have family dinners on Monday nights, and there was a teenage boy and a little like 7-year-old boy, and we all be sitting at the table, and I'd make everybody be part of the conversation, and them boys just be so mad at me, and I did not care. It was one day a week. Lord, not a political side whose voices are heard makes my pinky toe itch. Okay, and we don't got to dig deep into it. We could just sit with that and what we have observed, right? Because I want us
Mm-hmm.
to move into, and Tina, tell me, because, and I'm bringing all this up for a reason, right? Because a lot of what we have learned through life, right, on a macro level, on the micro level, in our relationship with ourselves, right? Because sometimes we silence ourselves before anybody even shuts us up. Some of us have been so trained to shut up about certain types of things We don't want to talk about certain feelings, as Tina was saying, vulnerability.
I don't like it.
No, get it out of here, right? Some of us have
Mhm.
been trained, not to question power or authority, not to challenge what's being said. Some of us have been trained not to go against the status quo for any reason. Some of us, raised in churches, you can't question the pastor.
Mhm.
We learn a lot.
Mhm.
We learn a lot. So how does what we learn, and Tina, you tell me what you think, how does it reinforce or challenge the things that we learned from home? And you could talk about it personally or, however you seeing it.
Because I have taken a journey to dissect and investigate what I believe, what I
Yeah.
actually believe, what I actually think about certain things, I can say that for the most part, how I was raised was just uh, the anecdotal way of kind of trying to find your space in life and do the best that you can according to other people's experiences. I say that because basically what your folks give you is survival tactics. That's it.
Mhm.
And once you become more mature and begin to question, well, why do I do such and such? Why do I think this way? What is the substratum or the foundational premise of why I think the way that I do? And I began checking my own core belief system,
Mhm.
mainly because I'm like, there are some things that are embedded in why I do what I do that I'm not recognizing because I've just listened to other people. Because
Mm.
because sometimes your folks can paint a picture of themselves for you,
Mm.
and then you have your own eyeballs.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, what gets in the way is the messaging comes before the development of your own vision, your
Mhm.
own perception, your own understanding. And with that comes the thing of, okay, I know what you told me, but let's question this. Why
Yeah.
did you say that? Where does that stem from? What about your experience brings you to this place? And I've had the opportunity to ask some questions that allowed me to release people from um, their own folly in my eyes. Like, for
Mm.
instance, when people have made terrible decisions, I'm like, well, first of all, you got to live with those decisions. Secondarily, it was the thing of, I know there was a lack of wisdom. I know there was a lack of knowledge to some degree.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that they were doing the best that they could with what they had, and they weren't given much. And
Yeah.
so, because I was able to challenge some things, now I'm able to say, okay, I no longer have to do this because of what I've been taught. Now I
Yeah.
could do some things from an authentic place because it is who I am and what I actually believe, if that made any sense.
Oh, girl, you're making all kind of sense. Absolutely. Absolutely. And y'all talk to us in the chatments too. Cousins, let us know. You know what I mean? What lessons have you learned about your voice? And what are you learning even now about your voice and your choice? Because remember, the voice is connected to your choices, right? I got a question for you, Tina.
Mhm.
What makes, and I'm going to ask this to everyone in the chat, so get ready. What makes a voice powerful?
Truth.
Truth.
Yes.
Okay. What do y'all say in the chatments? And you can go, share more. Why you say truth, Tina?
I say truth because it is the purest form of who you are. You
Mm.
recognizing what is around you. You recognizing the balance of the experience, and you seeing the outcomes. How can you see any of these things if you don't first have the truth of what is?
Okay, so you're saying truth. Can you put Ernest Johnson's what Ernest says on stage? Identity. Oh,
Identity.
yeah, I feel that. And then I see
Elevator
elevated
said
skills.
respect makes the voice powerful.
Mm. Oh, I
Honesty,
like this.
compassion, courage.
Yes, yes, yes. Heart resonance, Illust Oracle says, speaking from a space of self empowerment and soul connection. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm. Yeah, I think the relationship that the speaker has with what they're saying makes what they're saying powerful.
Ooh, grace
Grace
and
and
empathy.
empathy. Let's go. Yes. Ooh, I love these words. I love this. Okay, so I'm going to ask the question a different way. And I want
Mm.
everybody in it. Cousins, get ready, get their fingers ready. Tina, what makes your voice powerful? Britt said, absolutely, everyone. All hands on deck.
Oh, what makes my voice powerful is the impact that it has on others.
Mm, okay, I like that. And I think we would agree. Your voice has definitely had an impact on everybody. Cousins, what about y'all? What makes y'all's voice powerful? Because everybody in this living room with us has a powerful voice. Whether life has tried to tell you it was not powerful, whatever messages you've received.
My
And especially for
journey.
those of us who have been told to be quiet, to shut up, I would say your voice is probably even more powerful, which is why they tried so hard to silence you. So, what makes your voice powerful? What were you saying, cuz?
Oh, I was just reading the chat. Elevator said Tina got that soul in her voice. Fire.
Hello?
Um, Ernest said, my journey.
Mm. Elevator says, my voice has knowledge behind it.
Hmm.
100%. Mm.
Yolanda said, that's a hard question to answer, but I can say my ability to show love to others that don't feel like they have a voice.
Okay. Well, I hope that question gets easier to answer because that's powerful in and of itself.
Hmm.
People who can speak for the voiceless, that is a
Ooh.
special kind of voice because
Mm.
a lot of people can get the masses up and going and excited, but the person who knows how to speak for the people who don't know how to speak, that
Yeah.
is that's power.
Yes. Just the recognition and the translation that is necessary to convey what that other person wants to say, but
Yep.
cannot.
Yep. Yep. Illust Oracle for me speaking with conviction and being present in the moment. Ooh, I love this. I love this. Okay, cousins, that ain't everybody, but take your time. Life, lived exposure, Wanda Blake says. Knowing people need to be heard before I speak. Ooh, I like that.
Hmm.
Okay, I got another
They cooking in
question.
the chat, miss.
They child, indeed. That's why we got the best cousins over here.
Hmm.
Our cousins is better than them other cousins. I'm just inclined to believe that.
Hmm.
So I'm asking you, Tina, but I'm asking everybody else. So reflect on this, but I expect to see what y'all got to say. Oh, I also have a gift of explaining complex matters in a practical way, Illust Oracle.
Mm.
And she absolutely does.
That's why she's called the illest oracle.
Yep. Yep. She's been taking a break uh from doing a lot of talking because she's back in school. So she is in the learning seat. But whoo child, I have sat in groups with her. I have been a part of classes and workshops and nothing to play with. Nothing to play with.
Hmm.
Cooking with the
I
good
believe it.
parts. Yes, y'all are. Okay, so cuz what helps you lean into the power of using your voice, even when others try to silence you? And y'all know I'm asking y'all too, so y'all sit over there and think about it.
It is the call.
Mm,
It is the call to purpose.
I
Do I
had to
need
take
to
a moment of
expound?
silence. Hmm? No, I just had to sit with that. I had to breathe with that one. It was like you
Mm,
said it, and then
mhm.
this warm air just kind of blew over my face. And so I just had to sit there for a second.
Say
Say
the
the
question
question
again.
again.
Mhm.
Yes. What helps you lean into the power of using your voice even when someone is trying to silence you? What helps you lean into the power of using your voice even when someone is trying to silence you? Ernest says accountability. Mm. Phyllis Oracle says repeat the question. Yeah, actually, I'll type it. This might be one of them kind of questions you need to see. What helps you lean? Oh, we got a new cousin in the chat. Tina
Greetings,
Mom.
James. So glad that you decided to hang out with us tonight. Just wanted
Mm-hmm.
to acknowledge you and welcome you into the space as one of our honorary cousins. We appreciate your presence and you hanging out with us tonight.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'm typing. I think I got it in there. Hopefully I typed it right. I tried to type it fast, so that could have came out crazy. Bam. There are more people that want to hear than those who don't. And I want to just while Ernest is talking about more people that want to hear, it's so funny because some of the people in here, I know some of the people are honorary cousins I have yet to meet. Ernest has a beautiful singing voice,
Mm.
like, whew, like, whew. I met Ernest at a rehearsal. That's how we met. And
Mm.
and it is so true. There are more people that want to hear you than those who don't. He also does sign language. And I was thinking about what at Brit Family was talking about, speaking for the voiceless, or where Ernest is sitting up here, he's signing, for
Mhm,
people who can't hear, making
mhm.
sure, that other people can be a part of conversations that they normally would not be a part
Mhm.
of.
I was just talking with someone earlier today about how they were saying they wanted to learn sign language, but I remember thinking to myself that I wanted to brush up on my sign language skills because Lord knows I'm rusty. That's number one. Number two, I didn't go as far as I wanted to go because the people that were teaching me, I'm no longer in contact with. But I know quite a few people that are deaf.
Mm,
Now, when I'm around them, I can remember how to say certain phrases and whatnot,
mhm.
could carry on the conversation if I need to get something or do
Yeah,
something, but that's where I'm limited.
yeah. Okay, y'all. So talk to me. What helps y'all lean into the power of using your
Oop.
voice, even when the courage comes from God, because I couldn't do it without Him. Got it. So leaning
Uh-oh.
into your God courage. How is everyone? Oh, we doing just fine, cuz grab you some snacks. We are here talking about our voice and our choice. And we're getting ready to wrap it up. But I wanted to remind us, for anybody who ever feels the pressure to self silence or to allow someone else to silence, whether it's about talking about things that people aren't comfortable with, whether it's you don't want to talk about things that you're uncomfortable with, but that need to come out. Um, we got to remember sometimes the reason why we feel like we don't have choices is because, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Or I think about that saying, we have not because we ask not.
Mm,
Sometimes we don't have the options available to us, or we don't have the choices uh, clear. We don't clearly see our choices because we're not using our voice. So I want to remind us that that's why we are leaning into this conversation today, how important it is. Everyone in here has a voice. And I also love how some of us, some of the people that were sharing in the chat, there is this beauty of collaborating, of coming together, one band, one sound, using our voices for the most power. Hello, Jay. How's everyone? There are more people. Okay, I was making sure I didn't read. Yes, my inner voice is speaking louder. I'm hearing more clearly. I love that. Integrity. Ooh, I believe in being the exposer of the disturbance in the situation. Okay.
oh,
Okay. Well, Tina, we finna wrap it up, but I thought about something.
mhm.
It's a segment we don't always do on our show, but I want to bring it up because it's something that uh I've kind of been holding this grudge against Tina, and y'all in the family business, so it just is what it is. So this is the segment we call "It Be Your Own People,"
Oh,
and no, I got to get this off my chest
okay.
because yeah, I have to use my voice. A little while ago, I was having a very pleasant conversation with my cousin Tina. I wasn't saying anything offensive. We were just chilling. And she just said out of her mouth for no reason that I like people with a little ugly on them.
Oh Lord.
And in the spirit of voice and choice, I just wanted to get this off my chest before we get up out of here. And I just wanted, y'all to understand what I have to go through behind the scenes. See, because y'all get the Pastor Tina, and I get her sometimes too, but I also be getting the raggedy Tina. So if y'all could just pray for Tina, because first of all, that's completely untrue. All my crushes are beautiful people, but I just wanted to bring up she did say that out of her mouth,
Mhm.
and I just figured, y'all should know about it too, since we are sitting up here on this couch. Tina, did you want to say anything about that?
Uh,
She's froze for sure.
um, for the most part, I um, what I can say to that is this: she sees beauty in people whom I do not consider as visually favorable. We have different tastes. Therefore, but I can't say that I stand corrected that there are some individuals that they had their time to shine. And then by the time I saw them, they weren't as shiny. But because I saw them in the best of hue, I could say, okay, well, I could see why you say this individual is appealing to you.
Hmm. You've been working on that diplomacy. I like what you did there. I
Mm.
ain't mad at you. Well, y'all, we have made it to the end of our voice and choice segment, episode 6 of Two Cousins One Couch. Tina, would you do us the honors of taking us on out of here?
If it's one thing that I can say, as I try to gather myself, because I'm still tickled.
So that was a big old bus that went by.
I know, right? um,
Oh no.
if it's one thing that I can say is, Everyone, number one, in this chat is grown, so I can say this easily and freely.
Mm.
Find
Yes,
your
ma'am.
voice.
Yes.
Find your voice. Say what needs to be said, even if the only person that is listening is you.
Come on.
Because sometimes the thing that needs to be said, we want to say them to who we want to say them to. Sometimes the moment passes us by, whether that is due to their demise, whether that is due to distance, whether that is due to the fact that there has been some kind of parting where there's no getting back together. May the Lord be between me and thee while we are yet one from another. But what I'm saying today is this: allow yourself to speak the truth of who you are, the truth of what you think, the truth of what you believe, and say it. Say it until you free yourself from all of the bondage that has been placed on you by people, environments, upbringings, and all types of devices that have caused you to quiet the most powerful part of your being, which is your voice. Speak it. Be willing to speak it. And that's it.
That's it. That's all, cousins. Thank y'all for staying up late with us. Lay our fat heads down. We love you all, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.